The Big Show with Andy and Brendan.
This is the Big Show, baby.
Serving up takes on Mizzou, the pros, and everything in between. Want to join in? Call or text the show at 573-875-KTGR. The Big Show starts now.
You bet it does. Welcome in to Tuesday's edition of The Big Show on your total sports station, KTGR. Andy Humphrey and Brendan Schaefer here. Still haven't cooled off, I don't think, from Saturday, right? Still basking in the sunlight, everything like that. I think so.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'll be basking in the glow of that one for a while, if I had to guess.
He's raring to go. And but Eli Drinkwitz today just wants to move on to Louisiana. He can. That's the thing. He can. We can still.
I don't have to.
We can still celebrate the victories as long as we want. But we'll get into what Drinkwitz said about. He responded to the comment he himself made, crashing Bo Pribula's SEC interview, SEC Network interview the other day, saying he was the biggest dork in college football and that he embraces it. He was asked again about it today, and he responded. So we'll get that. He responded to how he was allowed to apparently punt on a kickoff when he wasn't supposed to.
That's pretty good. Got the Big 12 refs in some hot water with that one.
Apparently so. We'll get to that. We'll get to the good, the bad, and the ugly from NFL Week 1. That's back. Love that. We'll dive in at 5:05 with all of that coming up. You can text in your good and bad and ugly from the first weekend of NFL football at 573-875-KTGR. You can also leave a comment on our YouTube channel where we're live now at KTGR Sports. And Will Carroll, the injury expert, also will update us on what he thinks about the Xavier Worthy injury for the Chiefs, the key one that they're going to have to deal with going forward. He'll join us at 4:25. Call or text us again at 875-KTGR. We're on Facebook too, facebook.com/KTGR Big Show, and on Twitter at KTGR Big Show.
Now, the Big Show's Big Deal.
Good stuff happening for several Mizzou football players since defeating Kansas on Saturday. Today, Bo Pribula named the Maxwell National Player of the Week. That goes to, it's pretty self-explanatory. National Player of the Week from the Maxwell Award Committee. Pribula, of course, over 330 yards passing on Saturday against Kansas, 3 touchdown throws, and the Tigers getting that big victory. Dominic Giudice also named co-offensive lineman of the week by the SEC yesterday. Tigers preparing for Louisiana Lafayette. That's a 3 p.m. kickoff. The Yingling Tiger Game Day show begins on Saturday at noon. Cardinals lost the lead last night, 4-2. They fell to the Mariners. They'll be back at it tonight. First pitch at 8:40 in Seattle. Royals were blown out 10-2 by the Guardians yesterday. They play them again at 5:40 this evening. That's the Big Show's big deal on this 9th day of September 2025. You can call or text us here at 875-KTGR to tell us what you think about the world of sports today, especially in the Mizzou world, especially when Eli Drinkwitz gets to the podium and he says stuff and responds to things that he said earlier, like what he said in Bo Pribula's interview to the SEC Network yesterday when Bo Pribula was trying to say, is drink cool? And he jokingly said, because he knew Drink was in the no, Drink's not cool. He's really not. And then Drink was saying, I'm the biggest dork in college football. Well, today he was asked a follow-up to that, essentially, like, what has allowed you to embrace this persona of being the biggest dork in college football? He wasn't really interested in answering that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to beat ULL. That stuff is fun, and I realize with the glasses and the persona, that's just part of who it is. I think embracing who you are and being authentic is the key to, being yourself. And if it works for you, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm really trying to figure out how to improve from our performance last week. Didn't feel like that as a team we did the things that we needed to do in critical moments. When we really had a chance to put the game away. We have a chance at the start of the second half to go down. We have all the momentum and miss on a fourth down, don't get points there. And then in the fourth quarter, we get the ball back. It's 3rd and 1, can't convert, punt them inside the 5, and they go 96 yards. So I don't know, being a dork, not being a dork matters and all that stuff. We just got to get it fixed.
Classic. Pivot just right over to the game stuff. Love it.
Yes.
Love it, right?
This guy is all over the place. And it just depends on the day, what he wants to give you. But I think it's all also calculated. Is this for SEC Network? Okay, here's what you get. Is this for Louisiana's going to be watching, to see what I might be saying about them? Respect your opponent. We need to be better. It's all part of the game, but there are moments where he wants to lean into stuff. There are moments where he doesn't want to lean into stuff, and he has made it very clear over the course of time that he will choose when those moments are, and he was not leaning into the fun stuff today, huh?
Well, at least not on that one. It was kind of harder to I could understand from his perspective if it was harder for him to develop upon that, because it's a larger picture question that maybe
Right.
if he's on a podcast or something like that, then he answers it a little more in depth. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the setting for sure.
Yeah. And he's certainly focused on that, but I thought it was an interesting time to ask it still, right? Like the guy who asked it, Joey Van Zummeren, covers everything Tigers for SI. And yeah, it was great to at least hear that, how he interwove it into an answer about.
He turned it into the most boring soundbite of the century, which is again, that's what he does. He's a master of, here's what I am wanting to put out there into the world today. And it was all stuff about figuring out how to beat, a Louisiana team that they're favored to beat by like 3 or 4 touchdowns. But that's for us to talk about. That's not for Drinkwitz to talk about. He approaches it the way you have to approach it as the head coach. He can save some of the fun and games for like after a game. There have been times there's been lightsabers, Andy. There have been, kind of winking a nod toward a Bob Stoops comment. There have been standing on business against Josh Heupel. But then, Sunday happens, Monday happens. Maybe you're on SEC Network on Monday behind your quarterback. But when Tuesday rolls around, we're talking about the next week's game. And I want to make sure that we are in the position we need to be in to have success. I think that is a lot of what that mindset is from Drink.
Call or text us here, 875 KTGR on the Big Show if you want to talk about Eli Drinkwitz and the team moving on after what was a great win against Kansas, but Eli Drinkwitz still asked about some of the things that could be improved upon. And well, he had a lot, including some of the secondary issues, some of the coverage plays that maybe they could have been better on. And here was Drinkwitz talking about how they covered against Kansas.
A lot of root causes. One, too much scheme, too much their shifts and motions combined with too much in the game plan created a situation where we had confusion. That's on us as a staff to get that fixed. That's where it starts. So, when we played man-to-man, we were pretty good. We were attached to our players. When we got into our zone covers, when we had communication issues and eye issues and discipline issues, and, that stuff's got to get taken off the tape. We had a first touchdown of the game. We have the tight end running right down the middle of the field on a play we've practiced multiple times in the week and don't carry over the execution to the game. We got to look at that. Last drive of the game, they had the tight end runner wide open right down the middle of the field where he busted coverage because we don't get a communication call between the linebacker and the safety on a pressure. So there's a lot of stuff that was really disappointing when we watched the tape. And I think all of us felt it and knew that we got to play better.
And yeah, the page has been turned essentially from how everyone has talked about it. Like when it comes to how great that Kansas win was to now, like you gotta move on from it. It's hard to do though. It's hard for us to do, but for them, they clearly have to set sights on the fact that, yeah, look, now you can talk about like it doesn't matter how much you beat Kansas by, doesn't matter how you do it, just get it done. But then you realize, yeah, there is a remainder of the season coming against some tougher opponents very soon. Maybe not this weekend, but to come, you have to clean things up. And that at least seems to be the main area where Mizzou probably does need to clean things up.
And again, speaking to like the psychology of why you would approach the presser this way, I agree with everything he's saying. Like, there were moments that Kansas let you get away with some things. You know, Henderson had you beat deep. If Jalen Daniels doesn't put it 5 yards beyond him for the first play of the fourth quarter, it's a long touchdown. That's not even a play that Drink brought up right there in that soundbite. The first touchdown, yes, the safety. I can't tell on the grainy video who it was, but he's just up almost to the line of scrimmage instead of I just when those sorts of things happen, you think back to last year where I didn't think the talent in the secondary was necessarily the deficit. It was just the kind of broken plays and the miscommunications and the confusion. Confusion's a great word for it. And that was a lot of what plagued them last year, in my opinion, Andy, in the secondary. And it was a lot of what plagued them in this week against Kansas and could have hurt them a lot more than it did, which, you know, is one of those things. I think back to the prediction that everybody wanted to make fun of from Zach Sweet. And his reasoning was based in like thinking the veteran receivers that Kansas had would maybe give the secondary some fits. I'm of the belief that kind of happened.
Yeah.
And Mizzou just got away with it. So his prediction was actually not as off base as many people would be led to believe. But Mizzou getting the win, getting away with some things, playing great in so many areas, and then Drink being able to shift the focus. Because if you don't shift that focus, Andy, if he still rolls in on a Tuesday like, we beat Kansas, how about that? You're susceptible to anybody coming into town, whether they're from the Sun Belt or the Big 12. It doesn't make a difference. This coming Saturday is another game, and it's the exact kind of game that if you're kind of feeling pretty high and mighty after beating your rival, it is the exact kind of game that you could have a letdown in and maybe not lose it, but maybe you could if you have a big enough of a letdown. And I think the tone setting that Drink is probably doing behind the scenes matched what people got to see on Tuesday today for the way that he's trying to approach this thing. And I think he highlighted the secondary very accurately. But it's interesting that he mentions the over scheming. What's your take on that? Because maybe that is part of it. Is they're throwing a lot at guys? Do you hope that they'd be able to pick it up? But then if it's not going the way you wanted to as a coaching staff, do you have to simplify that and make sure that there's not those sort of breakdowns where you're making it too easy on your opponent?
I mean, maybe because of the fact that he liked how his guys covered in man-to-man, that maybe there was a little too much zone mixed in. Maybe you just take the word scheme out and you put the word zone in. I don't know. That's maybe my first inkling.
But is the zone concept that complicated that they're, you know what I'm saying? Or is there something that they can do to simplify what those concepts are?
Very well could. I'm not smart enough to know exactly how it would happen.
Same here.
They're much more smarter than I am. The players are more smarter than I am to understand all of that and to bottle it up in some very high pressure moments, especially as high pressure as that must have been for them. Got to think some of those players, maybe biggest game of their life. Like, I don't know, like you could maybe come down the line, probably not for everybody on the field,
not all of them,
but it's up there for pretty much all of them. And so I don't read as much into the fact of like, they're not understanding the defense at all. I do understand how Drinkwitz maybe would have wanted to see maybe a few different calls in those areas, because I was kind of seeing it myself from the bird's eye view of like, do we need to be in that here and there? So I don't panic on that. I don't necessarily see that as an issue. And Corey Batoon probably doesn't either. He probably agrees with everything Drink's saying on that. And so they'll figure out what works this week and see if they can translate it into the South Carolina game.
And again, you have to, no. Yeah. Well, you said it right, this week and then translate. But I think it's really about this week because of that tendency that if you don't show, you almost have to like go a little bit overboard. And coaches do this all the time, but you have to go a little bit overboard to demonstrate that we're not living in what we did last Saturday, good or bad, you know? And so you're a little more harsh than you have to be, so that when your players, like the first moment that you go into that, they're like, whoa, dude, we just became like, no, this is the next step. I think he's going to have a really good handle on that. And I imagine it'll be a really good week of practice because of that, if I had to guess.
Yeah, you have to make sure that that you don't fall victim to this trap. This is a trap. Like, this is a trap game in every sense of the word. Sandwiched between your biggest rival and your first SEC game against a team that is bordering on the top 10, probably should be in it, but the way that they played, I think, against South Carolina State played a little bit of a factor.
No, that's fair.
Top 10 talent team type that you're playing in your first conference game. Game day might be here. We don't know.
And you don't think the players are thinking about that?
Oh, yeah.
Thinking, hey, I
better win or game day won't come, like or something like that. I don't know. Can't be.
No, I think it's more like the risk is there's a player in the locker room that turns to the guy next to him and goes, yeah, dude, did you know with Florida losing, game day might not really want to go to Miami?
Right. Yeah.
It might. I think we're going to be game day.
Can't care about
you
that.
cannot, as a coaching staff, allow that to permeate, whether you believe it or not. There is like an outward projection of here's how we are approaching this week. I think Missouri is going to have, I think it's going to be a really, really good week because I think Drinkwitz is going to, they're too close this year to being able to accomplish so many special things. And like last year was really good. The year before that was really good, but they've kind of fallen just a little bit short of the benchmark of like truly breaking through a glass ceiling. I think he is going to be so dialed in on all of these nuances and intricacies of like, here's where the pitfalls could be. Here's how we make sure to avoid them. They might really look to pour it on a little bit this week and be that same way coming into the South Carolina game. You have to be perfect in every regard and pretend like there isn't a margin for error because soon there's not going to be.
Here's what I want to see this week. The defense pitches a shutout.
Yeah.
That will be preached all week within the building.
Don't let them score on you.
Do not let this team score. I'm pretty sure they will have a backup quarterback. And so you've got to work on those bust issues from what happened in coverage, however that ends up being. Drink talked about how he's a little worried about that running back tandem that they have, that they will need to focus in on that. But as you do so, I mean, we saw Mizzou do really well against the run this past weekend, but it left them susceptible on the back end. And so you've got to find ways to have that balance once again while handling a run game that can potentially cause issues for you. And that ultimately, that's the side of the ball that, look, we didn't think that was going to be the case coming in, but my gosh, the offense is taken off to this point through 2 games. It's only 2 games,
right.
But that seems to be, if you ask everybody, take a straw poll of Mizzou fans, they're more excited about the offense now than maybe the defense coming in. So like the defense does need a week where you just kill the will of another team, like early and often. And you like take pride in pitching that shutout towards the end all the way to 0-0 in the fourth quarter. That is what I want to see from Mizzou this week.
Yeah, and if you're looking at, and you mentioned it with the backup quarterback, they've had Walker Howard was their quarterback. He got injured.
Did you see the name of the backup? It's a great name.
Am I seeing this right? Daniel Beal? Is that accurate?
No.
Daniel Beal is who played for them last week. Are they starting somebody new this time?
Isn't there a quarterback on the roster whose first name is Lunch?
Probably. What's his last name? I'll look it up.
I think it's Lunch Munkin. I don't have it in front of me. My computer's restarting, but that's I would have it pulled up if
you're like, you know,
Microsoft did not get in the way.
I don't.
It's not just me, but hey,
but you don't know everything you need to know about him.
Don't know.
I don't know anything. So.
But no, this could be an interesting week for that. We'll see how it looks. But the defense, I think, is the unit that wants to take out some frustration, say, all right, enough's enough. Let's pitch a shutout.
I'm looking at Lunch Winfield, who against McNeese this past weekend didn't throw a pass. Okay. He ran 3 times for 2 yards. Daniel Beal against FCS McNeese threw for 86 yards. The guy that was their starter in week 1 threw for 88 yards against Rice. Yeah, they're going to try to run the ball on you.
Yeah.
this could be the shutout week, unless Lunch Winfield is that big of an upgrade. Which, if he is, well, why didn't they play him the first 2 weeks?
I don't know.
It's gonna be interesting to see.
Call or text us 875-KTGR here on the Big Show. There was a kind of a fun moment during the press conference when Gabe DeArmond asked Eli Drinkwitz about the punt after a kickoff that the Big 12 refs today misjudged, or really they misinterpreted the rule on, and that's why they're not working next weekend for their regularly scheduled game. Here was the exchange between Gabe and Drinkwitz today.
Why did you punt on the free kick after the block PAT, and did you know that was an issue before today with what happened?
We just wanted to see if we could. It's like asking your parents if you can do something that they probably shouldn't let you do, but sometimes they get it wrong.
Was anything said during the game?
Yeah, we told them they'd screwed up a lot of stuff in the game, and that was just one of them. Kudos to Coach Link. He asked if we could do that just because we had seen him in pregame really struggle with the sun and the fielding punts, and knew that was only allowable after a safety. That's the only time you get a free kick. Other than that, you have to use you can either drop kick it or use a tee. So they said yes. What were we supposed to say?
So to be clear, for those who are unfamiliar, the Big 12 today said that the officiating crew that worked Mizzou, Kansas is suspended this week because they allowed Mizzou to have a punt on a kickoff when they weren't allowed to. Now, you're allowed to do that after a safety, which Mizzou had a safety, but this was not the instance where it happened. It happened after Mizzou's first touchdown when they had an unsportsmanlike penalty and they were pushed back to their 20-yard line, which made it
kind of look weird, which is, I guess, the only reason the refs were like,
it made it look like it could have been after a safety, because that's where you usually kick from after a safety. So it was kind of similar in that sense, and I guess Mizzou just ran the punter out there just to see if they would notice, and I guess they didn't.
What's interesting is, I would think that is something that you do in particular, because Drink said they got a lot of stuff wrong that day. And so if it was like, these guys are so dumb, let's just prove a point here. But that was early in the game.
Yeah.
So I wonder how that materialized, or if the truth of it is special teams coach said, hey, this would be something that would be good because they're struggling with fielding the punch or whatever. And then you're like, can we do that? And truth is, maybe they didn't know either, but whether they did or they didn't, they ran it out there and nobody said anything. And so of all the things for the Big 12 crew, let's be clear about something. Big 12 crew should have been suspended. I think they should have their licenses revoked because it was just terribly officiated game. But it's funny that the thing that got them in trouble was actually a quote unquote benefit to Mizzou, if you will, because it was something that Mizzou got away with doing that they shouldn't have been allowed to do. I would have suspended them for the phantom face mask. I would have suspended them for missing 3 steps out of bounds by Jalen Daniels before replay fixed it. I would have suspended them for a lot of other stuff. But it's, you know what? Means to an end. As long as they're suspended, I guess it works out for everybody.
I mean, I mostly say, look, Kansas should have seen this. They themselves should have pointed it out. This is almost kind of the rule in baseball almost. It is essentially, it's not really the umpire's job to police when a player hits in a certain order. If somebody's batting out of order, it is the opposing manager's job to point it out within a timely manner to let the umpire know. It's not the umpire's job to say, oh, no, you're exactly. It's within the realm of the teams to enforce those types of rules. And I feel like that was a case where Lance Leipold should have been probably paying a little more attention to that and be like, yo, you can't punt on this. You got to kick off.
It's hard for me to say that, though, because maybe he did, right? I don't know. Maybe he tried to tell him and they were like, I don't know, because they were clueless.
Sure. That could.
I'm never going to be over that face mask call. I'm so glad Mizzou won the game because otherwise I'd have to be driving to wherever they have their Big 12 offices and I'd have to be writing letters, and it would be a whole thing. It's just a good thing that didn't end up mattering,
It's very true. 875 KTGR. A lot of reasons why we're happy that Mizzou did, in fact, beat Kansas, I think, this week. For sure. So we'll get to more of those, I'm sure, throughout the week, even though Mizzou's moving on to Louisiana.
They're moving on. We don't have to because we don't play. And, hey, players probably aren't listening, right? So I can be, very enthusiastic about finding a river and betting the spread this week, because I didn't do that when it was the Kansas game, because I said I don't care how many you win by, just win. This week I want to see them cover, and I think we're going to see them cover.
Yeah.
So players, if you happen to be on the Mizzou team, just change the channel. You don't need to hear this stuff because we don't want to give you too big of a head, but this is going to be a bloodbath this week.
Call or text us 875-KTGR here on The Big Show. You can also comment on our YouTube channel at KTGR Sports to chat with us here. The injury expert Will Carroll joins us next. How do we feel about Xavier Worthy's shoulder injury, and can he manage it throughout the season? We ask Will about that and much more in baseball and football injuries on The Big Show, KTGR.
The Big Show with Andy and Brendan continues next on your total sports station, KTGR.
Hey, it's Andy and Brendan here with Underdog Fantasy, and with football season now a week old, you get to look forward to week 2 and what other picks you can make to win some cash on Underdog. But great thing is you don't even have to just go to football. You can go to baseball. You can go to golf, so many other sports with Underdog Fantasy, and you can play right here in Missouri. And Brendan, we both love playing, and I know you've got something.
Yeah, but am I crazy just to go right back to football, looking forward to the Thursday night matchup in the NFL? I liked what I saw from the man they call Bill. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is listed with a stat on Underdog higher than 42.5 rushing yards. I think he's going to continue to get more work for the Washington Commanders as the season goes along. So I think I'm throwing Bill into my entry for Underdog on Thursday night.
Bill. I liked seeing him score the other day. So, yeah, you can pick players like that, go higher or lower on their stats. And if you put that entry together and all of those picks are correct, well, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. It's as easy as that. And you don't even have to put a whole bunch in. You can play with as little as $1 if you want to. It's that easy. Be one of the millions of fans that have already won billions making plays on Underdog. Download the app today and sign up with our promo code KTGR to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. Again, that's promo code KTGR. Must be 18 or older and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Free-for-all RV Road Warriors, your best blast of Branson just turned into a bad day bummer. You ran out of gas, blew a tire, killed your battery, or sitting sideways in a ditch, and managed to lock yourselves out. Ouch. Hey, it could happen. And for the save, you call I-70 Towing. They're Mid-Missouri's go-to crew for roadside assistance, too. Fuel, tires, batteries, locks, winching, you name it. When your world seems to have been wrecked, call the team they hope you never have to meet. I-70towing.com. Now serving Boonville. Winching.
You know that old driver in the corner of your garage? The one half jammed into an old golf bag that's now serving as a spider hotel? Yeah, somebody wants that driver, you know. Play it against sports. They'll pay you for the gear you're not using. Golf equipment, fitness gear, baseball, softball, and more. Bring it in and cash out, or upgrade to something you need for the upcoming season. Play it against sports once your used equipment. They need it. So don't sit on it, swing on it. Play it against sports in Columbia. Think of them first so you don't finish last. Play it against sportscolumbiamo.com.
1851 Underground is one of those cool joints the family would enjoy going even if the food wasn't good. But it is good. Really good. Famous burgers like the 1851, topped with pulled pork and hickory bacon, or the Fire and Ice chicken sandwich with Cholula honey and pepper jack cheese. The Baja fish tacos with crispy fried cod and avocado cream sauce is another favorite. It's not a secret, but it is underground. 1851 Underground in the historic Brick District in Fulton. Find them on Facebook and Instagram.
Michael Agnew here with API Project Fitness. I understand that life is hard, and if you're soft, it will squish you. You must find a way to be hard. Armor yourself up mentally and physically and emotionally. Our goal is to help you find your inner strength and hardness. The difference between strength and weakness is choice. With our group fitness classes and personal training and open gym, the choice is yours. Choose strength. Find us at apiprojectfitness.com or call us at 573-268-6944 to make an appointment.
Hi, I'm Tristan Colon, Mizzou grad and 6-year NFL veteran.
I'm Charlie Stickland.
And I'm Sarah Stickland-McDonald of the Stickland & Stickland Injury Law Firm.
In football, home field advantage can make all the difference.
The same is true when choosing your injury lawyer.
We're locals. We know the courts, we know the towns, we know the people.
Just as I protect my team on the field,
Our family will protect your family.
When sorry just doesn't cut it.
push back with Stickland & Stickland.
Tired of calling Andy and Brendan? So are their wives. Then shoot them a text right now. 573-875-KTGR and become part of the Big Show.
Back here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Andy and Brendan here with football season underway in the NFL as that overlaps with baseball now. Plenty of injuries to talk about with the injury expert, Will Carroll. You can read about the insider info he has on baseball injuries at undertheknife.substack.com. But when it comes to this first weekend of NFL football, Will, the Chiefs took another hit to their wide receiver room. They already had Rashee Rice suspended for the first 6 games. They're waiting for him to get back, but now they're going to have to maybe withstand an absence from Xavier Worthy after he hurt his shoulder colliding with Travis Kelce in game 1. Now, it seems that afterwards there's been a little bit more promising info about how this could look. They've characterized him as day-to-day. He might try to wear the brace on that shoulder instead of doing a procedure. But how do you kind of see the Xavier Worthy situation, Will, as he maybe tries to manage this during the season?
Yeah, there's not really anything to manage here. They don't think there was any significant soft tissue damage. Obviously, Kelce trucked him. Kelce just can't keep giving, can he? It's one of those injuries that just happened. It's unfortunate. It popped out. They popped it right back in. It wasn't so far out that it was difficult. Yeah, they actually showed it a little bit. They didn't take him in the tent to pop it back in. It was very quick. I'm sure it was painful, especially during the time it was out. But the thing you worry about with the dislocation is the soft tissue damage. Did the labrum get hurt? Did any muscles, nerves, things can get caught in there. You just don't want it. But it doesn't look like any of that happened. If it pops out, pops right back in, then honestly, it comes down to pain. And there are a lot of people that don't have much. They don't have much swelling. They'll obviously protect it with a brace, which can be problematic. You have to get that brace to a point where it's supportive, but also where he can reach up and catch a ball. So he's going to have a chance to practice with that this week, see how it is, make the adjustments, see how that shoulder handles maybe up to and including hits, because you don't want to send somebody into a game and have any questions. So I think we'll know early. I think we'll know by Thursday, probably at least by Friday, whether he's going to play or not, because they'll know whether or not he's going to be effective. Obviously, Hollywood Brown, Travis Kelce, tough matchup. So they're really hoping they have him almost for the first time this season.
And managing the inevitability of contact with that will be really interesting to see whether or not Worthy needs to miss time or if he can play through it. We know with the 49ers, George Kittle will be missing some time with the hamstring. Will, I believe the Niners are placing him on IR, so that's a weapon that Brock Purdy won't have. And Brock Purdy's dealing with some injuries himself right now, Will.
Yeah, so let's start with Purdy. He's got a turf toe. And this, it sounds soft, but it is one of the most painful injuries. I actually had a mild one a couple of years ago. I slipped. I was going up steps and kind of just caught my toe, and it pulled it back, which is all it is. It's just a sprained great toe. But oh my gosh, mine was mild, and every time I took a step, it killed. I knew what to do. I put a little piece of metal in my shoe, walked around, and was functional. But for about a week, every time I took a step, I felt it. So anything more significant than that, I certainly can't imagine going out and trying to play, quarterback in the backyard, let alone against NFL players. So that's a really tough one. Even a mild case is going to be something that's going to affect Purdy. He's a guy, he's not a speed guy. He's not a running quarterback, but you've got to have a basic level of mobility or you're going to get crushed out there. For Kittle, simple hamstring strain. It's going to be 4 to 6 weeks. It's a grade 2. So Kyle Shanahan's not scared to use the IR, and they've already done that from what I understand. So he'll be out at least 4 weeks. We'll have to see exactly how he recovers. This can be often as much as 6 to 8 weeks.
Will Carroll, the injury expert here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Another notable one from the football world seems that a knee injury to Brock Bowers has the Raiders managing him at the moment, saying that they're also going day to day. But how do you kind of view this particular injury for one of the more exciting tight ends in the game?
I'm not that worried about it. I'm told it's a small meniscus issue. He had a meniscus surgery of some sort. It wasn't very clear, and my guys at Georgia wouldn't give me any good details on it, but they've watched this. What they don't want to do is deteriorate further. So he had a little tweak. He landed a little funny on it, and the knee moves a little bit. It's just not perfectly stable. So this is something they manage. I do think he'll play, and I think he'll play well.
We'll see with that going forward, but good news to at least hear on the Brock Bowers front. On to baseball, Will. The Royals, it's a tough time for them to be missing their best player, Bobby Witt Jr., for the last few days. Been dealing with a bit of a back issue, been out of the lineup, I believe, 3 days straight. At the time of recording this, we haven't seen the Royals lineup yet. I don't believe they've put it out. They do play kind of earlier today, though, so we'll see if what's out there. But how do you kind of view this situation as the Royals still are kind of hanging by a thread in that wild card race?
Yeah, that's the thing, is I think you have to be understanding of the context of a team. There are some guys they're going to say, you know what, season's over. We'll play out the string with some backups. We'll get a look at some guys, but you go ahead and go get the surgery. This isn't a situation with Witt where he's going to need surgery. This is back spasms. But it's also a situation where, like you said, their playoff hopes are hanging by a thread. I've never heard of a player getting injured by carrying the team, but that's basically what's happened with Bobby Witt. He's just done so much for them. He's probably overdone it a little bit. And so he's had to take off a couple of days at just the wrong time of season, but I don't think they're going to push this. I think they're going to make sure that he's 100%. The last thing they want to do is have him out there, have him lock up in the middle of the game, or worse, have a significant muscle strain back there, get him into some bad habits, strain an oblique. We've seen back spasms go to the oblique just because it tightens up. Guy tries to go through it, and the muscle just doesn't have the mobility. So they're going to be very, very careful with him because their playoff chances for 2026 rely on him a whole lot more.
Will, the Cardinals on that side of things have been rolling out about half a lineup recently, but they got Alec Burleson back. He homered last night. And this week at AA Springfield, we're expecting to see Brendan Donovan rehab tonight. Nolan Arenado begin one potentially tomorrow. What does it look like, in your opinion, for the Cardinals potentially getting some of their top position players back this week?
Yeah, that's the thing is, I guess you could make the drive over or down, stop at Bass Pro, and then go see to a game. But it's one of those where, we've seen more of the Major League Cardinals either in Memphis or in Springfield than we have in St. Louis, it feels like. Arenado has been taking batting practice. They're in no rush here. They were saying last week that he was probably going to go Thursday. They haven't given a good reason, but again, I just don't think there's a rush. I think they want to have enough where they can show teams, hey, look, he's back. That shoulder isn't a problem. It's not something you're going to have to really consider if we talk trade, and we'll still have to see that with Donovan. They want him back just for the depth. But again, I don't know how many times and how many years we've been saying this. This is a pieces and parts team. These guys just haven't stepped up in the way they were expected. And this is a Cardinals problem. I wrote about this for tomorrow in Under the Knife, talking about how difficult it is to get players to graduate to the major leagues. Are there players? We always often talk about quad A players, guys who kind of never quite make the jump, and that's a real thing. But can we tell quickly? Jack Callejon with the Royals, he's back, he's hitting well, he's super talented. But we've seen Jackson Holliday, who is called the number one prospect. We've seen a lot of guys who just never make that leap. Is there something to that? How difficult is it? If you don't do it quickly, does that tell us something? Are some teams better than others? And Clay Davenport, one of the smartest guys around, a guy who knows more about league-to-league translation than anybody else in the world, gave me a really, really good answer. So if this is something that intrigues you, that'll be out tomorrow morning.
And possibly for Cardinals fans wondering about the future for Jordan Walker, it seems as though that's another guy you could kind of throw into that conversation. Yeah,
exactly.
And
that's the exact kind of player I'm talking about.
Yeah, and so definitely look out for that and under the knife. I got one more Cardinals one for you, Will, because it just came down earlier today that it appears the Cardinals are sending Liam Doyle, their top pick from this year's draft class, to Double-A as the Texas League playoff push is undergoing there in Springfield, and potentially going to see Doyle right away pitching to Double-A hitters after just one appearance at High A. What's your interpretation for how fast of a mover Doyle could potentially be? Because I think Cardinals fans are already a little bit excited with the idea that he's now going to be just 2 steps away from the big leagues in the same season that he was drafted.
We're seeing more and more guys move fast. I mean, in this case, it's just a scheduling thing. Palm Beach is done, so they're bumping him up just for, I think he's only going to make one start there. So I wouldn't get terribly excited about the movement, but about the pitcher, yeah, absolutely. We're going to see guys. I don't think we're going to see one from this draft class, but we've seen guys move faster and faster. The Reds have had a couple guys. Rhett Lauder, that didn't work. Chase Burns, he's had some injury issues of his own. Paul Skeens, he's pretty good. So it's a situation where we are seeing guys move faster, and there weren't really too many guys better than Liam Doyle last season in college. So what does he have to prove? All you're worried about is A, workload, and B, adjustment. Look, he played the SEC. He was playing against guys who were very likely Double-A level quality at the top end. Not everybody. But no, I don't think this is going to be unusual. I think we're going to see this more and more across organizations. And as they've been focusing on development this year, it's a situation where it doesn't surprise me at all that they want to see a little bit more of him, maybe challenge him a little bit.
Yeah, we'll certainly see with Liam Doyle as he gets that opportunity at Double-A very soon. Well, you talked a little bit about what's in Under the Knife coming up, but what else is in there?
Well, it took a really hard look at the Mets' young pitchers and this crazy plan where they send down their ace. They have 3 rookies in there, and they're in playoff position. It's very likely that we're going to have 3 rookie pitchers in a rotation for the playoffs. That's kind of crazy, but it's also kind of smart. This is a really bold, really smart plan, even if it doesn't work, and I want to give him the credit for that. The other, and I think this will interest Cards fans, with Chaim Bloom coming in, he's already in doing special assistant for development stuff and taking a look at the organization. But I detailed 5 guys who might be the next Chaim Bloom, including one that already has a World Series ring. So if you're interested in that, or who might just be the GM underneath President Chaim, take a look at that. That's out today, and that's free for everybody.
That's awesome. Go and check it out. Again, undertheknife.substack.com to read Will Carroll's insider info on Major League Baseball, injuries, and so much more. Again, undertheknife.substack.com to see Will Carroll's stuff. Great to have him here on the Big Show KTGR. Thanks, Will, for coming on. Enjoy your week. We'll talk soon.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Big Show is on at 4:45, KTGR and the KTGR app. It's nice stuff to hear about Chaim Bloom. Promising stuff. I like that.
I think it's going to go really well. I don't have 100% certainty of exactly what that's going to look like, but the feeling in the air is that we're close to that kind of turning over the new leaf feeling when it comes to the Cardinals. And I'm not going out of my way to bash Mo, but I just feel like the organization kind of needs that refresh and a fresh start. And I think Chaim, and not just Chaim, but his group, I think are going to be really ready to kind of win Cardinals fans back over in the way that they are going to make their kind of, it's like the marketing push. It's all of it that I think they're really excited to be able to sort of say, hey, we want to have Cardinals baseball be this cherished thing that it's always been. And we're going to, here's how we're going to compel you and convince you that this is still what it can be. I'm really excited for the offseason, I got to say.
It'll be an intriguing one for the Cardinals. Call or text us, 875-KTGR. Onto the bus next, of course, the Big 12 refs that aren't working this weekend because of what happened in Mizzou, Kansas, but also the AP voter who moved Florida up 2 spots after their loss this weekend and didn't really have a great explanation for why. That's next.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Mizzou quarterback Bo Prabula was named the Maxwell National Player of the Week today as his performance really shined against the Kansas Jayhawks on Saturday. Threw for over 330 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions for the transfer from Penn State. Tigers, after the 42-31 victory over Kansas, are 2-0 overall. They take on Louisiana Lafayette this Saturday. Kickoff is at 3 p.m. at a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Coverage begins on Saturday on KTGR with the Yingling Tiger Game Day show. The Cardinals yesterday had a 2-0 lead into the 6th inning, but then lost it after the Mariners scored 4 times in the 6th on the way to a 4-2 victory. Cardinals are a game under 500. They take on the Mariners again tonight with first pitch at 8:40. Royals were no hit for 7 innings before finally getting a hit in the 8th. They were blown out by the Guardians 10-2 last night. They'll take on the Guardians again this evening at 5:40 over in Cleveland. Now your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking a mild night as we'll see partly cloudy skies and temperatures dropping down into the low 60s. The warm-up starts up tomorrow as we'll see mostly sunny skies, highs getting back up into the upper 80s. By Thursday, we're starting out in the mid-60s, but highs reach near 90 degrees. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Did you miss the Mizzou Play of the Week?
Roberts running to the left side, trying to angle outside of the 40, 45, left sideline to midfield, to the 35, a foot race to the 20. Roberts angling back to the 5, to the house, 63-yard run by Jamal Roberts. And Missouri takes a 10-point lead over Kansas with 1:49 to play. How about those Tigers?
The Mizzou Play of the Week is powered by Yingling. Your home for Mizzou football is KTGR.
Discover, explore, and soak in the views of the incredible landscapes that make up the last frontier, Alaska. Experience the diverse culture and rich history as we cruise the Pacific coast and explore the wilds of Denali, Glacier Bay, and beyond. Join Zimmer Communications and Colette Travel September 9th at 6:30 p.m. at the Courtyard Marriott in Columbia for an informational meeting. Alaska, the last frontier, and it's waiting for you. To RSVP and learn more, go to ZimmerCommunications.com.
It was 9 a.m. on a Monday when the phone rang. Brian Ware Plumbing answered the call. But this caller didn't need plumbing services. They'd had a water disaster.
Hold on, sir. We'll transfer you to our restoration division.
Wait, what? Brian Ware has a restoration division? Then they remembered what they'd heard at the beginning of the phone call. Let's roll it back in slow-mo.
Brian Ware Plumbing and Restoration.
Yep. Brian Ware Plumbing now does water and mold restoration. Better call Brian and unplug your plumbing problems. Or your restoration ones. You know what? We'll work on it. BrianWarePlumbing.com.
From Branson Landing to the Capitol Dome, Union Station to the Tigers' home. Big old services, Missouri's best. Our trusted team outpaces the rest. Show me state coverage wherever you go. We've got you covered at Big O.
Pro Designs, but better than a billboard.
Hey, this is Jimmy with Pro Designs, and maybe you've heard, we're the vehicle wrap specialist, but branding your business doesn't stop there. At Pro Designs, we can wrap your walls, windows, even floors.
Go to ProDesigns.com.
Come see them at their locations in Eldon or Columbia off Rangeline Street and I-70.
Pro Designs, but better than a billboard.
If you're craving something delicious, find your way to the Pasta Factory, where everything's made from scratch daily. Their fresh sauces, cakes, quiche, dressings, and soups are sure to tantalize your taste buds. And all pasta entrees are cooked, baked, and tossed to order. Don't leave without sampling those homemade desserts, lovingly crafted by Jason and Rob. Good. The Pasta Factory. Visit them at 3103 West Broadway Business Park, right in front of Walmart. Closed Mondays and Tuesdays. The Pasta Factory, where fresh meets flavor.
Macadoodles does selection like nobody else.
If you're looking for ingredients to make the perfect new drink, look no further. Why settle for boring? Macadoodles has you covered. With Columbia's widest variety of beer, wine, and spirits, you're sure to find something new and exciting when you shop with Macadoodles. Come experience the difference in selection at Macadoodles today. Macadoodles delivers world-class customer service and unmatched selection at unbeatable prices. Who does selection like nobody else? Macadoodles does.
Everyone has their go-to game day outfit. Maybe it's a comfy black and gold hoodie or that old hat you wear because it still hasn't been to a losing game. Hi, this is Sophie Cunningham, and if you really want to stand out on game day, talk to the team at Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia. Rock your favorite team's colors with a beautifully designed, one-of-a-kind custom piece of jewelry from Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia, our hometown jeweler. MIZBETZ.
These beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the big show on KTGR.
It's time to go under the bus on the big show.
So, of course, under the bus to the Big 12 referees that are not working this week because they got – the real reason is because they got a rule wrong, but they got several other things wrong as well, as Mizzou fans very well know. And look, more leagues should do this. Not enough leagues do. This goes to college sports and to professional sports, and I really keep it to those two because those are generally the highest level of said sports. But we need to get these things right. And so when you don't, or you misinterpret a rule, or you have a blatant miss on either a penalty or a non-penalty, there need to be repercussions for that. And so, like, it doesn't mean you can't be a ref anymore. It doesn't mean you can't stay in that league. Doesn't mean any of that. You at least need to have some sort of consequence for not getting things right.
And like I said, the reason they were suspended, whatever the case, it was technically something Mizzou got away with more so than KU. But you know what? Ball don't lie, baby. Enjoy the games next week, boys.
Hey.
From the couch.
Under the bus.
So there's that. There's also an AP voter for the top 25, Haley Sawyer, who I couldn't believe this explanation. She apparently voted Florida up to number 14 from number 16 after this weekend.
Yeah, they went up two spots for losing.
After losing at home to South Florida. And her explanation of that was kind of like, yeah, it's kind of funny, but who really uses this stuff anyway? It's just for fun. It's for the fans and everything like that. It's kind of her explanation.
Yeah, she said, basically, I don't want to go too much into my process or logic. It's really fun, but it probably doesn't matter in the end. And she said it all kind of balances out because so many people vote. Here's what happened. Homegirl did not know that Florida lost to South Florida. That's the only possible explanation.
She covers football in Southern California. Doesn't she cover USC over there? Yeah, pretty sure she does. And
she does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, she probably misread and then moved Florida up, which, whatever, maybe she corrects it the next week. I don't know. That would be
the admission. Now she has to keep the grip, although she could be let off the hook if LSU beats them, because then it's like, okay, now I can safely drop them more than they deserve for that LSU loss to fix the mistake. But you cannot convince me it was anything other than, I don't know, she kind of was doing her rankings, which I get it. Beat writers are covering the teams they cover, and it can be difficult. It's part of what makes the AP methodology a little bit tricky because not all these people are able to watch every single game. They're busy on a Saturday as media members covering so I totally get it. But if you can't handle, the workload to do it, I saw Eli Hoff tweet something out about it saying, it's the reason I wouldn't really want to vote because I understand that it's a big undertaking. And if I'm honest with myself, I don't have the time on a Saturday, Sunday to devote to really doing a good job of it. That's exactly what Haley Sawyer needs to say if she can't figure out that Florida actually lost to USF. Because otherwise, there's no explanation for why she would move them up. It's what happened, and instead of copping to that, She said, well, it's all kind of for fun anyway. Does this really matter, guys? Thanks for the tweets, she kind of said. That was pathetic. She should give up her vote. I actually was fired up about this one.
And look, I wish she was right that it really doesn't matter. It shouldn't, but
it does.
It kind of does, because the committee puts together their own list mid-year, and they are also busy, and they need to have a template. You don't think they use that AP poll as a template?
Whether they should or shouldn't, they definitely do.
It's time for the sweetest thing in sports on The Big Show.
Well-deserved honor here, Bo Prabula, Maxwell National Player of the Week. It's all college football. He played the best. I can't argue with that. Congrats, Bo Prabula.
Yeah, he's number one. SP Plus says he's number one.
Yeah.
What more do you people want to know? I've been telling you since December that he's that dude. I'm so fired up, man.
He's milking this for as long as he can. That's for sure.
But did I tell you or did I tell you?
Yeah, he's proving you right now.
This summer, take you back to July big shows. I do have some questions about the offense and the quarterback. But why? Everything's coming up, Brendan.
Coming up.
Way to go, Bo.
Good, bad, and ugly from NFL Week 1. Text us yours, and you can leave a comment on our YouTube channel as well, at KTGR Sports. We'll get to it at 5:05 here on The Big Show.
Winter's on the way, so now's the time to plan your tree pruning. Here's why. In winter, trees are dormant, which means there's less risk of disease. Plus, without all those leaves, it's way easier to see exactly what needs trimming. The educated, licensed, insured, and experienced crew at Advanced Tree Solutions knows how to protect your trees and your wallet. But spots are filling fast, so schedule your winter pruning today at AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com. Advanced Tree Solutions, LLC. Your tree's best friend.
College football is all about the next generation. Fresh talent, big plays, new energy every season. That's the same approach behind Flight by Yingling. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, but built for today. Just 2.6 carbs and 95 calories with real beer flavor that keeps up from kickoff to the post-game recap. So whether you're tailgating or celebrating a win, make Flight your go-to. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Darling, may I have a refill on my coffee?
Sure thing, babe. You like this brew?
Delicious. What is it?
It's Cafe Caldi.
Caldi's Coffee from St. Louis? I love stopping by their cafes.
Yeah, I saw on their website. Last year, they were voted the #1 Reader's Choice in USA Today. A local family-owned coffee company beat all the big chains. I can really taste the difference.
Discover what makes coffee roasted in Missouri different when you visit Caldi'sCoffee.com and enjoy their full selection of blends and unique coffees from around the world. Caldi's Coffee. Great coffee since 1994.
On game day, every needs a. And every tailgate needs Kingsford charcoal. And a match. Whatever lot you're in, whatever you're grilling up for your fellow Tiger tailgaters, Kingsford charcoal is the official charcoal of Missouri football. Without it, you're just standing around in a parking lot. Since 1920, Kingsford has been proud to fire up your tailgates with friends and family. Kingsford.com.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, Mid-Missouri's total sports station. KTGR is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. The NFL's fined Eagles defensive tackle Jalen Carter $57,000 for spitting on Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott Thursday because he was ejected before participating in a play. The league said it will consider he's already served a one-game suspension. 49ers expect to know in the next few days if quarterback Brock Purdy will be able to play Sunday against the Saints. Purdy's status uncertain because of shoulder and toe injuries. If he can't go, San Francisco will turn to backup Mac Jones. ESPN NFL insider Dan Graziano.
They feel like they're confident in Mac Jones given the training camp that he had. So if he has to play, they should be okay, they hope, for a week or two. But The question would be, who is Brock Purdy or Mac Jones throwing to?
Dan referring to tight end George Kittle, who's landed on IR with a hamstring injury, and receiver Juwan Jennings dealing with an injured left shoulder. NBA, according to ESPN's Shams Charania, restricted free agent Josh Giddey agreed to a 4-year, $100 million deal to re-sign with Chicago, cements himself as the team's cornerstone at starting point guard. AL East leading Blue Jays put shortstop Bo Bichette on the injured list with a sprained knee.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. If you're a renter, make sure you're protected. Renter's insurance includes options that cover stolen property, personal injury, and living expenses if your place is damaged. Quote renter's insurance at progressive.com.
From Faro.
15 to the 10, to the house.
Bush.
Back to the wall, and it's got her.
And Arrowhead.
Touchdown, Kansas City.
To your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
I'm actually fired up to be able to talk a little NFL after what was a very exciting week one in a lot of regards across the league. Last night's game didn't really get me fired up that much, but we can talk about whether that falls into the good, the bad, or the ugly as we look back at week one of NFL play. You can call or text us with your thoughts on what was good, what was bad, and what was ugly from week one of the NFL slate. 573-875-KTGR. That's the number to call or text. Then at 525, we'll talk a little Mizzou basketball. Could Dennis Gates have an Eli Drinkwitz-like emergence? As Drink has had those 2 10-win seasons, we're feeling real good about what's happening in 2025. But Dennis Gates might be right on his tail with the recruiting class he's got coming in for 2026. So some Mizzou basketball talk feels appropriate at 525. 573-875-KTGR. You can call us, you can text us. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
How about Bo Prabula getting the Maxwell National Player of the Week award today for his performance against Kansas this weekend? Over 330 yards, 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions. He did have that lost fumble, but really rebounded after that and was a big reason why Mizzou's offenses look like the better unit so far. I mean, it's hard to argue that at the moment. So the fact that Prabula is already racking up those numbers, and honestly, like, it's more than just that, leading the offense with the confidence that he has over these last couple of games, his first as a Tiger, definitely well-deserved, and we'll see if there's more to come.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
So the referees from the Mizzou-Kansas game are not working this weekend in the Big 12. They've been suspended by the conference for a week because they misinterpreted a rule after the Tigers had their first touchdown and then an unsportsmanlike penalty assessed. So they're kicking off from the 20. Mizzou actually punted from the 20. The refs mistakenly allowed them to do that. You're supposed to tee it up or have a drop kick instead. But Mizzou was able to punt, and Eli Drinkwitz, when he was asked about it today, said, they didn't really stop us, so yeah, we just did it. Like, the referees do need to be suspended for that, I think. And I think more leagues need to be a little more they have to have more scrutiny for their officials and be more confident to make them pay for essentially bad mistakes like this.
Number 3.
And also, Haley Sawyer, the AP voter who moved Florida 2 spots up after they lost to South Florida. Like, yeah, it was probably an honest mistake, but she should probably not be a voter anymore if that's the case. Look, the AP Top 25, it doesn't really matter for the remainder of the season, but it kind of does because the CFP poll eventually comes out, and those are humans in the room. The humans will need a template to create their list from scratch. You don't think they use the AP poll? Come on, of course they do.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
Good to see Bobby Witt Jr. back in the lineup tonight. He's been out with a back issue for the Royals last 3 games or so. Royals still trying to hang on by a thread in the AL wildcard race. So we'll see if Witt can help the team against the Guardians tonight. First pitch, 5:40.
Number 5.
What is the 5
Surprise, surprise. Jalen Carter is not going to be suspended anymore for the spit. The ejection served for the suspension.
That's the Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
875-KTGR if you want to call or text us here. Yeah, that does not surprise me one bit. The NFL saying that Jalen Carter, no, you served your suspension with the ejection that you had essentially for spitting on Dak Prescott essentially before the game started. But I'm not surprised that they're just saying that's it, because the Eagles play the Chiefs this week, and the NFL wants both teams to have as many good players as possible for that game.
Yeah, but do you think that that's wrong? Like, I think that's probably appropriate of
Probably
a
not.
suspension.
No.
Like, they had a kickoff before the first offensive versus defensive play. Spitgate happens. He missed the whole game, the first game of the season. It was something he definitely shouldn't have done, but I also think that, appropriately he was ejected from that game and had to endure the punishment for that. So I'm good with it. I don't think it's like a Chiefs thing that, he's not suspended for more. I think it was just appropriate. One game, big game. Don't do it again. I'd like to say he won't, but you know what? Guys will be antagonizing. If I'm on that Chiefs offense, you can better believe that I would be trying to get under Jalen Carter's skin. I just think it makes sense.
Yeah, it will. He forfeits his week 1 game check worth about $57,000, but available to play for the Eagles' week 2 Super Bowl matchup against the Chiefs, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter today. I mean, the fact that it happened, again, 6 seconds into the game, so it serves as a full game suspension. Yeah, so that's, if it had happened in the second half, maybe there's a different conversation. If it's a different player other than Jalen Carter, I think it is a different conversation.
I think that's probably true as well.
So we'll see. But hey, the Chiefs got to get something going, and won't be easy against the Eagles. And as we know, their week did not go the way that it wanted to as we fire this up. First time this year. How about that? Good, the bad, and the ugly from week 1 of the NFL in 2025. Call or text us with yours. 875-KTGR here on The Big Show. Do you want to go bad or ugly for the Chiefs? I'd say just bad, mostly. But I don't know. If people want to call that ugly, I can understand. The problem is they still fought back in the game. And so you at least know that the Chiefs still have that in them. And if they actually get the stop on 3rd and 14 and a quarterback like Justin Herbert doesn't leak out, Chris Jones does make the right read on him and brings him down.
That was terrible. That's an
bad.
ugly. I mean, where's he going on that play, Chris Jones?
Man. I don't know.
You can't lose that outside contain like that. I mean,
yeah.
And he's the first. I'll say this. I like Chris Jones. He's the first guy to be looking and pointing a finger at somebody else when something doesn't go right. So, I mean, that he's got to take a little bit of personal accountability. They were getting into it in the huddle a little bit after that play. I think it was him and Drew Tranquil that were kind of going back and forth, if you saw that clip. But anybody that would have told Chris Jones, hey, bonehead, what are you doing, was completely in the right there. He cost his team a chance to get that football back and see what they could do. So, like, last year I had the Chiefs more times than you did in the ugly. I'd put them there sometimes when they'd win. I think this was ugly in the way that it happened, but that isn't also necessarily worse than bad. It's just like it was hard to watch. I'll say they played badly, and what it could mean for their season, it could get ugly. I am pretty concerned about Xavier Worthy. I don't think this is going to work out with him being able to play through the shoulder. At his size, we talked with Will Carroll, it's about taking the hit. Can you take the contact and still be the same? I would not be surprised if this is a short experiment that doesn't go well for Xavier Worthy. And at that point, things get ugly for the Chiefs because you don't get Rashee Rice back until week 7. And I don't think you can hold down the fort with just Hollywood Brown, Travis Kelce, Juju, and the ancillary pieces, plus a running game that did not look like I expected it would. I thought we would see kind of a refresh to the running back room for the Chiefs in that, all right, Pacheco's going to be healthy, right? Otherwise, why would they have not gone out and made more meaningful additions? Had like 5 carries in the game, and they were swapping him out more often than I expected. It could get ugly. It was bad, but it could get ugly. That's where I land.
It didn't look good for the image of the running game that they didn't at least dive more into it when Xavier Worthy went out, which was very early in the game. And so like that's a concerning part. By the way, don't trade for Tyreek Hill. Don't do that. No.
Nope.
That is off the table. Off the table. Recent news on that too.
I wouldn't take him for free. Wouldn't take him for free.
Okay. All right.
He's Antonio Brown too, and we will see that play out, is my prediction.
It's just, no. I don't know if I would even take him for free. Like, why would I let that?
I would not take him for free.
Okay. Gotcha.
I am to that point with Tyreek Hill.
So if there's another option out there, maybe you got to explore it very early on.
Why are we doing this every year?
All this.
How is it that we have to do this every damn year with the Chiefs talking about adding a wide? It's every season we play this game, and it's week 2. And we're doing it now already.
Year. Well, they had a healthy room, and now all of a sudden they don't. It's just,
I know it.
It's insane.
Happened fast.
But
can we stop with the friendly fire as well?
Yeah, what's
Mahomes
up with that
out
too?
Rasheed Rice.
Like Mahomes,
That's
now Kelce.
stupid.
What is Kelce? Come on, man. Like,
I don't know whose fault it was, but that can't happen. He's too important to the team. You know what I think happened?
What?
On that podcast, Taylor Swift knew a lot about Xavier Worthy. She seemed to know a lot about.
What do you mean?
The Chiefs draft. You didn't see that from New Heights?
Well, yeah, I watched the podcast, but what are you referring to?
Well, one of the themes that emerged from that podcast was how like into Chiefs football she is now, and like knowing the players and following the sport and how it works. And she's talking about jumping up and down, excited that they drafted Xavier Worthy when that happened out of Texas. And so maybe she was a little too excited, and Travis had to take care of business. I'm just putting it out there.
Oh,
just a thought.
Come on. No.
She seemed to really enjoy Xavier Worthy, and maybe Travis Kelce, a little bit jealous.
Come
just saying.
on now.
You don't think?
It's just no. Love Taylor Swift conspiracy theories, but that one I can't go down that road. I'm sorry.
No tinfoil hat.
Can't do that.
Get you on board?
No.
All
tinfoil hats, Easter eggs, whatever you want. No, I'm not. Not on that one.
Huh?
Sorry. No, that's where I draw the line. 875 KTGR. Tell us what was good and bad and ugly from NFL week 1. I mean, we should acknowledge that the Chargers should be in the good this week.
Yep. Who wins the division?
All that.
Is it them?
No,
you ready?
I'm still in on the Chiefs.
All right.
They can figure this out. It's not a great game to lose, though. I will admit that. It won't be wrapped up by early December like it was last year. Might have to fight a little more tooth and nail, but they will still, I think, edge everybody out, despite maybe there being a little more competition this time. But look, if Justin Herbert plays that way, then yeah, be a little bit concerned about that, Chiefs fans. If he comes to Arrowhead and does the same thing, then I don't know if the Chiefs have an adequate enough answer for it. We'll see how that looks week by week for Justin Herbert, but no, I was impressed, man, and I wrote him off the week before.
You want to know the odds on namesportsbook.com? AFC West winner?
On the AFC West? Yeah. Tell me.
Chiefs are plus 190.
Yeah.
To win the division. The Chargers are plus 190.
Oh, so
to
dead
win
heat.
The division.
Dead heat.
Dead heat with the Broncos at plus 230.
Interesting.
So technically a co-favorite still for the Chiefs, but I think I like the Chargers money better. I think I like the Chargers.
Look, when everyone's ready to bet somebody else now, and when the Chargers beat the Chiefs for the first time in however long it was, 4 years.
It didn't take me long to jump off the ship, but I think it's already happened for me. I'm sorry.
I mean, but people do this all year, every year.
I didn't last year.
They
last
find
year I said
as
I wouldn't.
little of reason as possible to shy away from the Chiefs.
I know.
And then the Chiefs just won the Super Bowl again. Last time they lost their opening game, they won the Super Bowl. Just reminding
Last
everybody.
year I said I'm not going to worry about anything that happens during the season.
Right.
I'm all the way in on the Chiefs, and they burned me in the Super Bowl. This time, I have to break out that Josh Allen shirt again. He might be the guy this year. Might be his year.
Again.
You want to do some top 5 quarterback rankings next?
I mean,
we can wait a little bit for that.
Let's have some games play out first on that
All
front. Marty is here on the KTGR hotline. Marty, what you got?
Man, I probably screwed this up. You guys are talking about the NFL, and if you'll indulge me, I just wanted to talk about that beat writer that moved Florida up.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You know, you got. I think you guys are saying it doesn't really matter that much. Well, it does matter.
No, we didn't say that.
Well, someone did. Someone said you didn't think it mattered that much.
The writer herself was trying to play it off, saying it doesn't matter.
That it didn't matter.
Yeah,
that was her response.
Well, then she's wacko, because it matters to the fan base. Everybody wants to turn the television on Saturdays and see a number by their team's name. It also matters to the coaches that can go to the athletic director and say, look, we were a top whatever it is, top 25 team, top 15 team, whatever. So I don't know how someone like that even gets to vote if that's her mindset to begin with. And I guess you can't go out and interview every one of these writers or broadcasters or whoever does it. But my gosh, this woman should be suspended for the rest of the season for this. And then I saw an interview with her, and she's making fun of it basically, and laughing and giggling and acting like it's not a big deal. Well, tell that to the teams that work their butts off to get ranked. It's a competition. Everybody, you're going to compete to keep score. And that's basically what you're doing here, is keeping score. So I just don't understand it, and it kind of ticks me off, as you can probably tell, and I would be calling for her dismissal.
Yeah, and look, appreciate the call, Marty, here on the Big Show. I mean, we should make sure to know that she is not probably the only one with a bad AP ballot out there. There's probably others too. But to have a blatant miss like that is uncommon. And so that's where it comes down.
And what actually bothers me more is her response to downplay it.
Yeah.
If she had honest to goodness, and I get it why you probably can't, because maybe then they would take her vote. But if she said, I got to be honest with you, maybe we should reconsider the way we do these things, because I just didn't have time to know that Florida lost the game. And because that's what happened. You don't move a team up for losing as a 18-point favorite. It would never happen.
Right.
So she kind of played it off. I don't like her response, and I do think that her response is indicative of there should be a consideration to remove her from the voter pool. But I also think that you're right. It's not just her that's going to have that. It frustrates me though when you say, well, it doesn't really matter. Then don't vote. Give it to another beat writer.
Yeah.
Give it to a host, give it to somebody that wants to do it. If you don't want to do it, I get it if it's a time constraint, but it did bother me. I don't think Marty's out of line for being fired up about that one.
875 KTGR, call or text us. Doing the good, the bad, and the ugly from NFL Week 1. Call or text us at 875 KTGR. What was your good, Brendan? Tell us what was good from your end.
I thought this week the Packers were good, man.
Good, man.
And I don't know if it's that the Lions are bad, but the Packers ground the Lions into paste. I mean, they really did. The Lions offense couldn't do anything against that Packer defense. Packers moved the ball pretty well. I just thought for a team that looked as good as the Lions did last year, I know it's a new head coach, but the Packers were probably the number one good for me. With a shout out as well to Geno Smith, I thought played extremely well on the road. Raiders get the outright win over the Patriots. If you see like the throw chart, the pass chart for Geno Smith, he's just throwing dots all over the field. And I'm just very impressed by the way that he cuts back and lets it eat, and did a really nice job in that game, I thought.
I mean, the Raiders can hang around as a team that is a thorn in several other teams' sides. Get the
They
Chargers.
might be better than we thought.
Chargers on, is that Monday Night Football? It is, in fact. Oh, late game on Monday Night Football because there's 2 this week. It's one of those weeks. So, yeah, that's one to look forward to there. Can I call a team that lost this weekend good?
You can. I'll tell you if you're right or wrong.
Am I allowed to do that? I thought the Jets were good. Jets were good. Jets are good now.
They didn't win, but Justin Fields looked really good.
Yeah, man. If that is how Justin Fields looks.
Breece Hall looked really good.
Breece Hall.
The defense, I don't know. Is it bad that they let Aaron Rodgers do that to them?
That's possible. Yeah, it is bad. Things figured out there. I'm sure Aaron Glenn doesn't like that.
Did you hear him say, I wanted to beat everybody associated with the Jets? Aaron Rodgers, like he's got some sort of chip on his shoulder, like he wasn't the problem. I don't even know what to say about that.
Do whatever you want to do to convince yourself of that, buddy. Like, just go ahead. And just,
win's a win, though.
Yeah. He didn't play terribly himself.
No, he didn't. He played well.
Maybe he just needed to get out of New York. But, he's only there that year. He's only here for 2025, and that's it. So
here you go, though.
Yeah, baby.
You want some Jets love on the YouTube page. Daniel chimes in. Membu looked really good. Membu's getting some national love already.
Yeah.
From just moving guys on that offensive line. He's looked really good. Really sharp early.
I mean, should have been the first O-line taken. That's the Patriots' loss. But hey, that's promising to see. The whole Ravens-Bills business, I don't know what you call it. With good or bad or ugly on either side.
No, there's no bad. That's amazing. That was glorious.
Oh, it was a great game.
Oh, it was so good. Who would you even say is bad in that? Defenses? I think it's just 2 elite. That's 2 Hall of Famers, baby. That's 2 Hall of Famers going back and forth.
Not even defenses, but just the management of the game by the Ravens down the stretch. Man, you're up 15. Well, it's like 6 minutes
left.
You
don't think Derrick Henry's going to fumble? I mean, that comeback probably doesn't get completed without Henry's fumble. Set the Bills up on a short field. Help the comeback to happen.
No, they could have been a lot better on there. Well, no, I'm agreeing with you on that, but
okay.
What happened after that? The Ravens still have a window to not give Josh Allen the ball back and just couldn't do it with Derrick Henry. Trying to run with Derrick Henry and couldn't still find a way to get a first down, which would have iced the game.
Momentum is so funny in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like we see this happen at times.
Oh yeah.
A switch just goes off and it's a completely different game. And it's like the team that's now on their heels, you can't get out of it. It's like inescapable at a certain point.
Right.
And that's what it looked like for the Ravens. They just completely lost their mojo and the Bills took it from them.
Yeah.
It was unreal to watch.
I mean, and look, credit to the Bills. They are absolutely in the good this week. And that type of win builds you confidence for the rest of them. And we'll see what that looks like. Let's go out to the KTGR hotline. We'll check and see if he comes back.
We'll just keep going here.
What was your bad?
Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson should probably not be starting this week. I watched nearly that whole game. I was pretty heavy on Malik Neighbors for the weekend, and he just couldn't get anybody the football. It was bad. I thought the Giants would be more competitive in that game, and I feel that Russell Wilson held them back. And again, it's like, what should we expect from him at this point? I expected more. Maybe I was suckered into expecting more, but I did, and he was the bad for me. Giants were underdogs; they weren't supposed to win, but he looked far worse than I could have feared for him to look in that game.
I'm a little worried though about that situation because, look, it's only one game. Like Russell Wilson, while we think he probably shouldn't start, he probably will end up starting this week.
He will. I think Dable has said it, although initially he refused. Initially that day they were asking him, he said, sounds like you're not really answering the question. And he said, I stand behind Russ. And so I do believe they'll start him.
Right. I worry a little bit though about the fact that Russ looks worse with that team and that coaching staff than he did with Pittsburgh. And if that's the case, well, are we sure Jackson Dart's going to unlock something, or they're going to unlock something with Jackson Dart with that team? Like, they already ran Daniel Jones off, and Daniel Jones looked great with the Colts. Like, I don't know.
He did look good.
I don't know.
Daniel Jones in the good. Are the Colts more in the good than the Dolphins are in the bad, though? Because I think that was more about the Dolphins for me. That was terrible by the Dolphins. It was like a pick'em kind of game on the point spread, and the Dolphins just got ran out of the building.
Yeah, that is an ugly situation. Hot take. Ready to make it now.
Go for it.
Dolphins will finish with the worst record in the AFC.
They might, dude. And I was wrong. I'm already after one game going to say I was wrong. I thought the Dolphins would be like 8-9 wins, would be totally fine. I like Mike McDaniel. I like the idea that not all these football coaches have to sound the same and handle things the same, and like that his sort of quirky style could work in the NFL. It maybe can't. I think that's about to go off the rails. And people said that the train's falling off the tracks. And I said, no, it's going to be fine all summer. I think I was wrong already. It's looking, it is not looking good. That's an ugly situation. I've got one more ugly to propose.
All right, yeah.
In Monday Night Football, in the first half, I thought my ugly was going to be J.J. McCarthy. Caleb Williams was actually worse. McCarthy came around, had a good second half.
Man,
Some of the throws that Caleb Williams, dude, I thought this was going to be different. You could see the video of Ben Johnson cursing every time he throws an incompletion. Caleb Williams looked terrible. And like, remember week 1 last year, we had this big referendum and I was like, Caleb Williams looks terrible. And then we kind of blamed it on bad coaching, bad offensive line play. You can't make those excuses anymore for Caleb Williams. I'm starting to sincerely question whether this is going to work beyond like the next 8 weeks.
He started the game 10 for 10 though. Like
he did.
It was like the script. That.
It was like, Andy, it was like they had the script. You know how they have the opening scripted
right,
plays?
Yes.
And like he was able to and then after that, the dude, he was making throws that were so bad. I didn't even know which receiver was the intended target. He was awful.
In the second half, for
game.
sure. No question about that. That they just did not close that game well enough on offense. And so, yeah, you can call that ugly. And look, Bears fans were booing again. I thought
I'm concerned. I'm with them.
I think we still got to find out more about what Caleb Williams is under Ben Johnson. Like, because if they are able to figure out more than just the first quarter as far as how they can adjust. Like I put a little bit of it on Ben Johnson last night.
That's fair.
No, Caleb Williams was not great. And he is still not to the point where I'm sure Bears fans wanted him to be week 1 of his second year, but
still some rumblings too about like work ethic and coachability and some different stuff that you just don't know what to trust.
Yeah, and look, the hope is that gets squashed by Ben Johnson as much as possible, but like that still, I still put that at his feet. Ben Johnson, you have a quarterback that, look, you can argue whether or not he should have been drafted number 1 overall. Either way, top 10 type of talent that comes into the NFL laid at your feet with all of these weapons. You've got a running game. You've got a rebuilt offensive line. You've got all this stuff here. Figure it out, man. Like last guy wasn't able to do it. If he can't, then goodbye. Like I put it more on him.
It's if they can't figure it out with Caleb Williams, he won't start for them week 1 next year. Like I think it could go off the rails that quickly.
That's kind of what happened with Justin Fields. So I don't disagree. But
what's the bad DEFCON? Because I'm like 1 stage away from full scale nuclear panic.
I mean,
on Caleb Williams,
I get it, but I'm not willing to sound the alarm bells yet after 1 game.
Man.
See what.
Give me the prediction.
Happens.
Standings for the NFC North. Go. Final standings.
Well. Should we go standings or should we go wins?
Standings.
Well, they probably finished third.
I mean, you could do either way. Whatever's your best way to get to the standings.
They go third.
No,
great win by the Vikings last night. I don't know if it sustains for a full season.
So give me the standings. What 1st through 4th?
Packers, Lions, Bears, Vikings.
I got Vikings ahead of the Bears, but I think the Lions, I'm a little worried about the Lions too, but that might have been more about the Packers. I'm going to believe that the Packers are just that good. Packers, Lions, Vikings, Bears. That's my 4.
875-KTGR, call or text in with your good and bad and ugly from NFL week 1. And we'll get to some of those texts next. And can Dennis Gates have an Eli Drinkwitz-like arisal over these next couple of years? We'll talk about that next on The Big Show.
Follow The Big Show on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. And keep it here on your total sports station, KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for ProfitShares.com. Go and check it out. Go and sign up if you are a sports fan and you like to predict the outcomes of these games, because you can put that knowledge to the test and enter into the several contests that ProfitShares has running right now throughout football season, so you can make those predictions on college football, professional football. If you don't want it to be a season-long thing, you can just enter in week by week as you want to. It's also totally free to play. They give you an allotment of credits to use to make picks on certain contests. And then if you get enough of those picks right, you can then redeem those credits you earned for gift cards to places like Target, Amazon, Chipotle, Subway, so many others. Or you can donate to charitable causes that are important to you. And again, totally risk-free to play. It's a great way to spend football season. Go check it out. ProfitShares.com. That's PROPHET shares.com.
This weekend, cancel your plans. Brunch is calling at the Dive Bar in Columbia. Start with biscuits, not just any biscuits, local made, buttermilk, sweet corn, even gluten-free, smothered in scratch-made gravy, pork sausage, or the chorizo. Don't forget the loaded biscuit, fluffy omelet, drenched in gravy, stacked so high it's basically brunch art. And then there's the Dive Cristo, smoked ham, house-made raspberry jam, gooey cheese wrapped in a flaky puff pastry. The Monte Cristo wishes it was this good. Brunch Saturday and Sunday only at the Dive Bar in Columbia. Don't just eat, experience.
It's time to leave those regular malt beverages in the doghouse and adopt Lucky One Lemonade. Made with real vodka and real juice, Lucky One is a premium alcoholic beverage with no artificial flavors, no bubbles, and is only 100 calories. With 4 flavors, blueberry, peach, raspberry, and regular, and money from each pack sold goes to help rescue dogs find their forever home. Come taste Lucky One Lemonade at this year's Zimmer Tiger Tailgate. From backyard hangs to tailgate sips, Lucky One Lemonade is the upgrade that your cooler deserves.
Shangri-La is proud to be a part of every black and gold home game this season at the Zimmer Tiger Tailgate. Swing by our tent to play games, win prizes, and hang out with Missouri's top team of cannabis aficionados. Want to join the fun? Pick up your free Tiger Tailgate tickets at any Shangri-La location. Then come find us on game day. We'll be bringing the energy, the prizes, and the community spirit that makes Tiger football unforgettable. Shangri-La Dispensaries is paradise found. ShangriLaDispensaries.com.
I'm Nevada Shelkey, Exterior Director of Sales with True Sun Exteriors and Interiors. True Sun Exteriors is your exclusive preferred LP SmartSide contractor. One of the benefits that comes with our preferred contractor status is we are able to provide extended warranties with the Expert Finish product. We love LP siding because it comes in longer lengths. So that means there's less seams on your home. It has a hail warranty on its substrate up to 1 3/4 of an inch. It is an engineered wood product, so it's much easier to work with and install. LP SmartSide has several pre-finished colors available, as well as pre-finished accessories to complete your siding project.
The difference between a house and a home is the attention to detail. At True Sun Exteriors and Interiors, we'll turn your vision of a dream home into a reality. For more information or a free estimate, go to TrueSunExteriors.com.
TrueSunExteriors.com. Your daily fix of local sports lives here. This is The Big Show on KTGR.
Text in your good and bad and downright ugly from this first weekend of NFL football. 875 KTGR here on The Big Show with Andy and Brendan. Got to some text here. 875-5847. James says the good was the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah, we didn't talk about them. Bad, the Miami Dolphins. Equally as bad. And Baltimore, the fourth quarter choke job was in the ugly there. Yeah.
Yeah, I could understand not feeling very good about that. And if you had the Ravens and the Bears as your picks this weekend, to see those kind of fall away the way they did on consecutive nights, you probably didn't have a very good time. Understandably so.
No. Yeah, I had the Ravens -1 in the picks of the week, and I was feeling pretty good.
Yeah, how'd that turn out, by the way?
Yeah,
do we know
good.
Are we? I guess we're tabulated. We're
well, yeah, that's right. So did the? Oh, you know what? I think the producers had the Bears.
I was 2-3, I believe.
I think
the
we
Bears,
were all 2-3. Actually,
producers had the Bears. They lost. So, like my head-to-head with the producers, I took them down on Mississippi State. I was my most confident pick, second week in a row. First week LSU, that was Mississippi State. Got them both. But I lost on the Giants thing. No wonder I was so mad at Russell Wilson. Got the Bills home. That was nice. I had Florida. To cover by -18. They didn't even win.
No.
And then this was big, actually, the Lane Kiffin deal where they kick a field goal to go up 10, and then Mark Stoops marches down, kicks a field goal at the very end to make it a 7-point game. I lose my Ole Miss pick on that.
Yeah.
May or may not have had a parlay as well that lost on that. But I had no idea because I was at the Mizzou game by that point, didn't even know, what was going on, and so just saw the scores, thought, guess Ole Miss couldn't quite carry the day for me. Come to find out, they had it in the bag. And then a last-second field goal. I'm so glad I didn't see any of that.
And then Lane Kiffin afterwards says sorry to
sorry to me. He said sorry to me.
At least he apologized.
Specifically.
At least he did the
he
right
did.
thing. Yeah.
I had Illinois, Syracuse, and Ole Miss. I thought all three of those were going to do great. And only Lane Kiffin let me down. But he did say sorry, which I appreciate.
That's good. That's what matters.
It's weird that the coach. Is it weird that the coach is talking about the spread? Is that weird to anybody else? Or are we just like, whatever? It's just part of the modern day college football. It is what it is. Like, we've always known they're kind of aware of it, but that was like another level of awareness, is to bring it up and say sorry.
I mean, it is next level. It's one thing when the broadcasters do it, which I think is very enjoyable in and of itself.
Used to be the Al Michaels special to do it subtly, but now it's like so out there that it's not even
their own little way. But
it's interesting.
But yeah, there was that. I will say, thank you, Jamal Roberts. Got the whole cover play there.
True.
Right?
Mizzou covered as well. Good teams win, great teams
That's
cover.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't think about that. So because you had faith in Mizzou to cover. I was never going to pick Kansas for our picks of the week, but I did think it would be a close game. It was. It's kind of like that Zach Sweet prediction. It was a close game. The secondary had some misses, but the details were lost on it. Was that Mizzou does end up winning and covering, which is great to see. So we really did all go 2-3. You lost on the Ravens. You lost on the Chiefs.
There were others that I lost on.
SMU let you down.
That's right.
Against
That was
Baylor.
a wild game too. Did you see that? Double overtime.
That was a crazy finish. I think that was the one. Was that an earlier kick time?
Yeah, 11 a.m.
Because I saw on how Faurot Field they'll put the roll through during timeouts the scores, and it said for the period, the quarter they were in the sixth. It said they were in the sixth quarter. I was like, holy crap. At first I thought
wrong.
Not wrong, but I'm like, is that the sixth overtime? Like, what's happening? But it was just, a couple overtimes there, but they let you down. Vanderbilt, though. Watch out for those Vandy boys. Diego Pavia, right now, for this weekend, South Carolina, we know to get game day, South Carolina needs to win. Vandy, I saw him +5. That spread is getting thinner and thinner. I might like the road team Commodores at that number. I can't wait for that game on Saturday night. I really can't.
So fun. I mean,
two teams on the schedule.
I could see a 4-point win by South Carolina. I could see it.
I could see Vanderbilt winning the game.
That too.
South Carolina has not looked that impressive. I've never been this excited for a non-Mizzou versus Vanderbilt game, like before the beginning of it. Obviously, the Bama game was cool last year.
Well, we didn't expect that to happen. All right, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I am excited about this game. I think it's one of the most compelling games on the slate for Saturday, especially from a Mizzou angle, knowing that we're going to see the Tigers play both these teams. I can't wait for that game.
It'll be something. Call or text us, 875-KTGR. If you want to weigh in on the good, the bad, and the ugly. Niner A, almost exclusively Niners content on The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
We hear from him every week, but that's what it is.
He says the good is that Jake Moody is gone. Oh, come on, man.
They did cut a third-round pick.
They did.
I mean,
would not a smart move to use a third-round pick on him, I don't think. Yeah, don't draft kickers. Don't do that in the NFL. George Kittle out 4 to 6 weeks. He put in the bad. Yeah, that's tough.
That really sucks.
On IR today. Brock Purdy also dealing with injuries, so we'll see on him. And then the ugly, he said the Ravens blowing a 15-point lead. In the moment where they did, like that, even though you're on the road in Buffalo, you got to put that away. You have an MVP quarterback too, one of the best runners in the game. Come on, got to put it away.
Can I cop to something? Watching that game, the score was at one point 34-19. And I felt like I was having a stroke or something. I was like, did I miss a touchdown? How are they down by so many points? And then I did the quick math. 34-19 very much is the ultimate doesn't feel like a 2-possession game score. Does that make sense? There's a lot of scores in football that we know, okay, 21-7. It's a 2-touchdown game. For some reason, 34-19 felt to me, and I wasn't drinking on Sunday, okay? But 34-19 felt to me like it was somehow 3 touchdowns. I was like, wait a minute. How many are they down by? Did I miss something? Is that
I can kind of see how if you're just squinting at it and
you're just it took me
you
a
don't
second
pay
to go,
attention to the second digit. You pay more attention to the first digit in both numbers, and you're like, well, they're down 20. And
it was seriously, it only was for a moment, but I was watching that game and I was into it. Fantasy implications out the wazoo. I was all about that game. And I was like, wait a minute, 34-19. Did I miss something? But they were all going for 2 and they kept missing. And so it was a little bit confusing. But I was like, no, that's 15 points. The Bills are still in this thing. Apparently, a lot of Bills fans didn't think so. They're leaving the stadium. Josh Allen, after the game, said, maybe you stay till the end next time, gang. Have some faith. We're in this thing.
Call that the best fan base in the NFL. I don't know.
They did. That was not a good look for Bills fans. That was ugly, but if I may.
I agree with that. That was a tough one. But hey, at least you get Josh Allen, second best quarterback in the NFL. It's wonderful.
Second best. We'll get into it at some point. But Mahomes, he looks pedestrian.
Come on.
I think we're gonna.
Come on.
This year might be the exposure year for old Patty. I don't know. I thought they were going to be on a war path. I thought they were going to be on a war path. Where's the war path? I saw a border war. I saw that on Saturday. But Friday, I didn't see anybody going to war. I saw vacation in Brazil from the Chiefs. I didn't like what I saw. Did not enjoy it. Not one bit. Was rooting for him. Didn't like the outcome.
Just imagine they're going to beat the Eagles this week, and you're like, oh, wow, that's why.
They are going to lose to the Eagles potentially by double digits. I don't know what the spread is, but I'm thinking Eagles in the spread.
1.5 point favorites or something like that.
Oh, my gosh. It is going to be that's real? I might have to leave right now to find a river if that's really the number.
I don't check it now. I don't have it in front of me, but that's the last check I had. But
I am concerned. I am really concerned for the Chiefs first 6 weeks. It might not be 3-3. It might be 2-4.
Yeah. They've surprised folks before here and there.
They've surprised me before.
875-KTGR. Call or text us with your good and bad and ugly from week 1 of the NFL season. So can Dennis Gates pull off essentially what Eli Drinkwitz has started and is continuing to pull off? After some really good recruiting years, you finally get all the reinforcements you need, and you put together some seasons that we haven't really seen in a while for Mizzou basketball. We'll get to that, whether that can happen after all the recruiting momentum Mizzou basketball's had here recently. Next, you're on The Big Show.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Mizzou quarterback Bo Prabula was named the Maxwell National Player of the Week today by the Maxwell Award Committee. Prabula threw for over 330 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions against Kansas on Saturday, and the Tigers' 42-31 victory over their arch rival to move to 2-0 overall on the season. They host Louisiana Lafayette this Saturday with a 3 o'clock kickoff, sold out Memorial Stadium. Our coverage with the Yuengling Tiger Game Day Show begins at noon right here on KTGR. Cardinals look to bounce back tonight as they take on the Mariners in Seattle. Mariners scored 4 runs in the 6th inning to take the lead against the Cardinals last night for a 4-2 victory. And the Cardinals will get started with coverage here on KTGR beginning after Tiger Talk at 8 p.m. And the Royals have Bobby Wood Jr. back in the lineup tonight. He had been out with a back issue the last 3 days. Royals, after a 10-2 loss to the Guardians yesterday, will look to even up that series in Cleveland. First pitch is at 5:40. Royals began the day 3 games back in the AL wildcard race. Now your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking a mild night as we'll see partly cloudy skies and temperatures dropping down into the low 60s. The warm-up starts up tomorrow as we'll see mostly sunny skies, highs getting back up into the upper 80s. By Thursday, we're starting out in the mid-60s, but highs reach near 90 degrees. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Join the biggest party of football season at KTGR's Tiger Tailgate. Download the KTGR app and find a full list of locations where you can pick up your free Tiger Tailgate passes. Then come party with free food and drinks 2.5 hours before each Mizzou kickoff in front of Mizzou Arena. It's our Tiger Tailgate with Dive Bar, Bud Light, High Noon, Zing Zang, Lucky One Lemonade, and Mid-Mo Water Solutions. Find out where you can pick up your free passes on the KTGR app.
Time is running out for the best full and part-time jobs in Columbia. Miller's Professional Imaging, the largest photography lab organization in the United States, is hiring. If you are energetic and enthusiastic, Miller's Professional Imaging wants you. Miller's offers competitive salaries up to $23 per hour with monthly profit sharing and no experience necessary. Don't wait. Time is running out for the best job in Columbia. To apply, please fill out an application under the employment link at millerslab.com.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Free-for-all RV Road Warriors, your best blast of Branson just turned into a bad day bummer. You ran out of gas, blew a tire, killed your battery, or sitting sideways in a ditch, and managed to lock yourselves out. Ouch. Hey, it could happen. And for the save, you call I-70 Towing. They're Mid-Missouri's go-to crew for roadside assistance, too. Fuel, tires, batteries, locks, winching, you name it. When your world seems to have been wrecked, call the team they hope you never have to meet. I-70towing.com. Now serving Boonville. Winching.
Buckeye is your fall savings destination. Find unbeatable prices on everything farm, ranch, auto, home, pet, and outdoor living. Join the free Buckeye Buyers Club and get even more savings on every purchase, now through the end of the year. Stock up for the season and save big at Buckeye. Not a Buckeye Buyers Club member? Sign up free at buckeyes.com.
It was 9 a.m. on a Monday when the phone rang. Brian Ware Plumbing answered the call. But this caller didn't need plumbing services. They'd had a water disaster.
Hold on, sir. We'll transfer you to our restoration division.
Wait, what? Brian Ware has a restoration division? Then they remembered what they'd heard at the beginning of the phone call. Let's roll it back in slow-mo.
Brian Ware Plumbing and Restoration.
Yep. Brian Ware Plumbing now does water and mold restoration. Better call Brian and unplug your plumbing problems. Or your restoration ones. You know what? We'll work on it. BrianWarePlumbing.com.
You know that old driver in the corner of your garage? The one half jammed into an old golf bag that's now serving as a spider hotel? Yeah, somebody wants that driver, you know. Play it against sports. They'll pay you for the gear you're not using. Golf equipment, fitness gear, baseball, softball, and more. Bring it in and cash out, or upgrade to something you need for the upcoming season. Play it against sports wants your used equipment. They need it. So don't sit on it, swing on it. Play it against sports in Columbia. Think of them first so you don't finish last. Play it against sportscolumbiamo.com.
Hey, it's Molly, and it's football season at Billiards.
Ha ha,
What he said was, our Missouri teams are going to be really good this year.
I did love me an old kiss.
That's right. So whether you watch on Saturdays or Sundays, Billiards has the biggest TVs in Columbia.
WO down to old H2O.
Whether you're hydrating with H2O or a cold Missouri beer on tap, watch your favorite teams all season at Billiards.
Ha ha, you gotta have the boogie on down.
Billiards on Broadway. Now that's high quality.
Hi, I'm Tristan Colon, Mizzou grad and 6-year NFL veteran.
I'm Charlie Stickland.
And I'm Sarah Stickland McDonald of the Stickland & Stickland Injury Law Firm.
In football, home field advantage can make all the difference.
The same is true when choosing your injury lawyer.
We're locals. We know the courts, we know the towns, we know the people.
Just as I protect my team on the field,
Our family will protect your family.
When sorry just doesn't cut it.
Push back with Stickland & Stickland.
The best local sports talk around on your ride home. You've got The Big Show on KTGR.
Well, call or text us still with your good, bad, and ugly from week 1 of the NFL season, 875 KTGR here on The Big Show. Also your Mizzou thoughts, your Kansas hates, your thoughts on Drink and what he said today. And also your basketball thoughts, like basketball relevant today because of what Dennis Gates has done in the recruiting game. Getting Tony Bryant after he visited the Mizzou-Kansas game this weekend. Tony Bryant, according to 24/7 Sports, the number 23 overall player in the class of 2026. They list him as a 4-star, but other places list him as a 5-star. He's right on that edge. That paired with the number 3 guy in the class, very much a 5-star, Jason Crow Jr. Both those guys signed on, or not signed on yet, but committed to Mizzou basketball for 2026. And look, Brendan, we saw this with Drinkwitz. You get some good recruiting momentum. You build a few classes in a row that break into the top, 20, 15, 10 some years. And you make big splashes there. That maybe came before the results actually showed on the field. First 3 years for Drinkwitz, 500 ball. Then they finally get things going. Back-to-back 10-win seasons. Is this now what we're going to see from Dennis Gates once guys like this load into his program and he's got his rubber stamp very much fully on it?
Yeah, I think what's interesting is when we talk about Drinkwitz and the recruiting class aspect of it, the recruiting momentum, we felt it simultaneous to the wins beginning to show up. But you could make a case that those high school recruiting classes didn't always turn out, at least like last year's group of freshmen that we touted, the guys that they came in and it was like a coup at the last minute to get Williams Winery and Crutchfield and Kawan Lacey. Like, those guys didn't really ever contribute. Obviously, guys like Luther Burden and from that class did so. But it's just interesting the way that Drink has also developed just an unbelievable eye for the portal, and to be able to just get the guys that can come in and be legit contributors, blending with the recruiting classes. And now you're talking, this is exactly what we said would happen. I have no idea how many stars Donovan Alubade had, but I know I don't care.
It was 4. He's a 4 guy.
Right. But it's like he wasn't one of those where we go, oh, the last second we got him and we got, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's the hype around him now that should be. Maybe there was when he was being recruited, but it seems like, man, there's lots of 4 stars, lots of 3 stars. And it's like they're getting the right ones. I feel like in basketball, it's a little different because when you're getting those types of recruiting stars and winning the class rankings and things, not as many players going to be on the floor at a given time. And so it almost, I think it can impact you even more quickly than it can in football. Football, they've had to kind of find their balance of portal. And I think basketball's kind of done the same, Andy. But last year for Gates, you got all those freshmen coming in. A couple of them are now gone, but you still have a number of them still here. It feels like this is the year where those guys can kind of show what the development aspect of what Gates can do for guys that were handpicked by him. And then another year after that, here comes another wave of couple 5 stars that are coming in. You'll continue to grab key portal additions like a Mark Mitchell that is going to have a great season. I think the answer to this question is yes. I think Dennis Gates is on that same trajectory and was just hired a little bit later, right? That's really all we're talking about here. He's doing the same stuff, and I think can have the same success as well that Drink is having right now.
Yeah, about to enter year 4, and look, we'll see what this year's team looks like. It depends on a couple of things. There are a bit of unknowns at the moment with how the roster has been filled for this next season. But the goal should still be the NCAA tournament, and I think they'll at least be in the mix for that. Then the year after that is when you load these 2 5-stars into your roster,
right,
which you could really start to take off. I will say, though, different from football, this has a possibility of being more short-lived because Jason Crow's here for 1 year, and then he's off to the NBA, most likely. Probably so for Tony Bryant. We'll see. I don't know. Different type of player.
I'm going to say not necessarily in that case,
Yeah,
just because we don't.
We know less about that, but we know for sure that Jason Crow Jr. is just a stud and can take 1 year in college, be a top NBA prospect right away, and we'll see how that all materializes. But
Tony Bryant's like number 23 in the class. Is that the he was higher than that? Then it's like everybody knew he was coming to Mizzou, and so they moved him down. I'm tinfoil hat with some of that stuff as well. I think you can't take the recruiting services and say that's the end all be all. I don't know how the sausage gets made on all of that. I'm not saying they don't do a good job, but
either way, like there is more hope on the way though, because you already have Scotty Atkinson for 2027 coming in right after that. So there is some groundwork laid to make sure you don't have that drop off after, the 26, 27 year. You could have a major influx with these 2 guys, but maybe you don't lose as much because 2027 can still restock the cupboard a little bit. But that's the danger, is that you have to be ready to sustain that a little bit more. Take advantage, definitely, in a world where March Madness can take away the hopes of a lot of those teams that have a whole lot of talent, and then they just aren't good on the right day, and then their season's done. But sustaining it, you still have to use the portal. Dennis Gates will have to continue to make that a major key of it. But
Mizzou is going to be one of the biggest destinations next year for portal additions. What do you need to play alongside Jason Crow and some of the other mainstays that have been developing from that previous class? They may not need a bunch of guys. They're going to get 1 or 2 in the next portal cycle, where 2025 will be fun. 26 is going to be outrageous.
Yeah, helps to have those 2 on board for now for that season. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to the injury expert, Will Carroll, for coming on as well. Back tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Tiger Talk at 7, and then Cardinals coverage begins at 8 right here on KTGR. We'll see you.
Let's talk numbers, because if you're a fan of stats, you'll want to hear this.